when you started your YouTube channel, when did you start K-pop Beat?
We started that when Butter was released, BTS Butter. That was the
Mm,
first thing we had reacted to. So,
really?
yeah,
Wow.
because because we all three of us are Army. That's how we met through another reaction channel. And we decided that we wanted to get more into K-pop because most of us were mainly Army, knew a couple other groups, and we wanted to share our K-pop journey like with each other and with YouTube. So we decided that we'd do the channel. It just so happened around the time we were getting geared up, BTS came out with Butter, so that was the thing that started it off.
Okay. And I think I remember you telling me about how there was actually another member of K-pop Beat at one point.
Yes, Eloise, she was originally supposed to join us, but then her life kind of got busy, and it was really hard to group up, like, because you've got me, I'm in Canada in Atlantic time,
Hmm.
Bucky's in Florida, Tanya lives over in Japan, so she's like
Right.
12 or 13 hours off of me, depending the time of year, and then
Right.
Eloise was in the UK, so it was like
Oh, wow.
all different time zones. So she usually missed when we were doing stuff, but like we still talk to her, like we're still all friends and things. So
Right. And you said that
yeah,
that's how you guys came up with the name K-pop
yeah,
Beat, right?
yeah, because we were going to be reacting to K-pop, and Beat stands for Bucky, Eloise, AJ, and Tanya.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
I love
because a
that
lot of
kind of
people
lore.
ask us that, and I'm just like, that's where it came from. It was just we were brainstorming names, and that was something that came up.
Now, did you ever think to yourself that you were actually going to do YouTube like this? Like, did you ever feel like you were ever going to get like the mass amount of attention that you have gotten so far?
No, like we were just kind of putting along, doing our own thing. The channel was like where we met to watch K-pop together and just kind of have fun. We'd meet like in the beginning it was like once every couple weeks, and then when we got a little bit more focused it was once a week. We do
Right.
recordings, but we just kind of put along, and if people watched it, great.
Hmm.
If they didn't, also great. We were just having fun doing it, and I was learning a lot. Like
Yes.
with the programs we use with, and I eventually started learning editing.
Right, right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that that's what's so fun about our journeys here because, like, for myself, mine was completely accidental. Mine was, I was at the point when I was like, okay, gaming is just not it anymore for me.
Yep.
We, like, a lot of the friend groups were starting to move on, families were starting to become a thing, and there was just less and less time to game. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll start doing reactions. And so, like, I started with doing reactions on TikTok, like those silent ones, which everybody hates, and I definitely got the brunt of it, especially. But it
Yeah.
was a lot of fun because I was doing something completely different than what I thought I was going to do.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, I used to have a Pokemon card unboxing channel with my wife, and we had like a little bit of success with that, but over time, money became an issue, and obviously we wanted to get into the house and have kids and stuff, so it's like we can't be spending money on Pokemon cards
Yeah.
constantly. So I thought, okay, well, let's start doing reactions. And I started doing I started doing true crime reactions. And that I actually thought about today. I was like, that I'm so glad that I stopped doing that because my mental health would have gone down the drain seeing all that
Yeah.
negative stuff constantly. And it was very scary. It was I was like, I don't know how people can do this constantly.
No.
But so I stopped doing that and I started kind of flowing into some more of like the pop cultural like high-end YouTube stuff that goes on like through drama and stuff. And that wasn't really I wasn't really having fun with that either. And so in the midst of me just like possibly getting into a new game like Diablo, Diablo 4 was just coming out, and that's when I reacted to Lilith. And then
Yes, I remember watching that one.
that's so crazy. Oh my god.
I I think that's actually how I stumbled upon your channel was the Lilith reaction because I was
Really?
obsessed with that song after we react. I think we reacted to it after I seen it like I was just obsessed with that song, and I just had recommendations for people reacting to that, and yours had came up, and I clicked on it. I was like, "Oh, this dude seems cool,"
That's
and
crazy.
just kinda went from there.
That's awesome. Yeah, like it's so crazy to think that that's like we're going on a year now. It's been a year since that video
Yeah.
dropped, and I'm like, oh my god, that's insane. And I can't believe it's already been a year. But that's how it kind of started. Is like I got into the music, and then I was like, oh my god, like this is actually really cool. And now I'm learning about K-pop. Like I always thought, like I was
Yep.
like, this is like a meme everywhere. Like this isn't. Like, I know that it's popular, but I never thought that myself. Somebody like you
Yep.
know personally, like rock,
Yep.
alternative rock, everything else, right? We like I didn't grow up with this,
Nope.
and so now I'm being thrust into this world, and I'm going down rabbit holes, and
Yep.
it has just been insane the amount of music and the information that I get now. It's just like it's so crazy. Like
Yeah, well,
I never
that's
thought.
well, that's the thing with me. It's just like, especially in the sense of like some people, like real life friends and family, kind of joke about, oh, you're into K-pop and you do YouTube. And I'm like, what's wrong with that? But at the end of the day, it's like, if I never found BTS, I would not be doing this. I would not have learned about other cultures. I would
Yes.
not have gotten to K-dramas. I would not have fell down the rabbit hole of like what I'm doing on my other reaction channel now, like the BL stuff. Like I would have never fell into any of this content.
Yeah.
And it's like, and my life has gotten so much better since I got into doing all this because I found some awesome people. I've made a bunch of friends. And like now I
Yes.
have
Oh my
something to
god.
do. Like YouTube for me is something to do. I enjoy learning, I enjoy doing all this stuff. And it's just like, but before that, if you would have told me like before 2020 that I was gonna full dive into K-pop and K-dramas and then Thai dramas and go down this
Yeah.
rabbit hole and then find SB19, I would have honestly, I would have laughed in your face because I was like, I was listening to things like Billy Talent,
Yep.
Disturbed, Evanescence, like all that realm of like metal or
Yep.
new metal as they
New
call it.
metal. Yep.
Just like I used to be one of those like if it's not rock, it's not real music people, and now I'm like, oh god, I'm so embarrassed for my younger self.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like that was one thing that I always prided myself on was being on a job site and playing some of the most obscure music ever. Like it was so fun for me because I was learning about new sounds and especially like during the times of like EDM and stuff, we were really flying into like some really strange realms of different genres of music. And the weirdest one that I ever found myself in was vaporwave music. This kind of nostalgic, I've been here before, but this is also elevator music kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And it just like I utilized that to like to study, to be able to like do for my job, right? I'm an electrician, and to go to school, I needed lo-fi hip hop, vaporwave music to have in the background to help me concentrate in doing what I'm
Yeah.
doing. And I've brought this up many times before too about how when it came to new metal and getting into like a lot of like just the teen angsty stuff, My Chemical Romance, 3 Days
Yep.
Grace,
Yep.
we've got artists that are really speaking to us because at the time we were really going through some shit.
Yes.
Growing up was difficult and
Yep.
dealing with emotions, dealing with relationships, it all needed to come through that type of music.
Yeah, and Linkin Park was also a very big one for me in my senior high school years. Like, I don't know what I would have did without their music.
Yeah, I believe I accredit a lot of my getting out of very negative headspace through their music.
Yep.
And so from that point, I always see, I kind of relate, I kind of see some people on the outside when I'm looking in, and I see people that are still listening to this type of music, and it almost feels like they're still living in that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas with other music, especially what I've like said with BTS,
Yes.
was that it brought me out of this negative headspace and everything just seems so much more bright. Like everything just seems
Yeah.
a lot more vibrant, and it helps get past a lot of those negative thoughts. And it also heals a lot of negative stuff that goes on because we can relate through it through the music.
Yeah. When I found BTS back in 2020, I was going through a really bad like headspace. I was always into music, heavy into music. Like I play piano, I like to I sing. I used to actually write my own stuff. I write lyrics and like I mean, I have my guitars and stuff over here and I play bass, not a lot of guitar, but I've tried to learn.
Right.
But it's one of those things that I just got so fed up with it because it just wasn't it for me anymore. And I was like, I just wasn't interested. And it's like, this is not me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
not being even remotely interested in music. Like everything I did in my life had music. I was always the one with the headphones on, listening to stuff and singing and doing different things, and then it's just like everything stopped and I was like, I got to find a way out of this. And I had heard of this BTS group in passing and K-pop and stuff. I'm like, you know what, we'll go check them out. And this was in 2020, just before the pandemic hit here and everything shut down. So I ended up finding them, and I liked kind of I stumbled across Dope was the first music video. And it's
Okay.
like, okay, this is cool. I like this. This is interesting. And then and that was right around when Map of the Soul 7 came out. So then I found Black Swan. And
Mm,
I credit that as the song that saved me because
wow.
reading the lyrics for that, it's like if this group, like at the time I didn't know if they wrote their stuff, but if a group this big can do a song like that saying about kind of like losing the passion and the music and things, it's
Yes.
like I'm not the only one that goes through this. And somehow getting into that song just pulled me back up and I started writing again. I started being interested in music. I fell deep into their stuff. I was listening to my music I used to listen to. It's just like I
Mm,
always say, they pulled me back from the edge, really.
right, right. So
And
they
it's just like I
actually
think
helped
we
you.
all have
Wow.
like that BTS story because they always it's kind of like the I don't want to say running joke, but it's kind of like BTS finds you when you need them, and I full on believe that because
Yeah.
like they find you where you find them when you need them because it pulled me back, and it's just like it's been such a journey from there.
I find that so true in and amongst everybody that I've ever talked to when it comes to BTS is that it created a space for us to be able to express ourselves better. I mean the whole "Love Yourself" campaign,
Yes.
being that this is essentially why I always state that BTS helped me find myself and love myself,
Yeah.
whereas SB19 currently is now helping me branch out. It's helping me explore and to not be afraid to try things, to be able to just go outside the box and stop having that safety net below you, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and I find it's just so amazing how before, when it came to music, it was never really about anything like that. It was always just about getting through life and being okay with emotion.
Yeah.
And that always seemed like it was always the top of the totem pole when it came to listening to music. Then you have like obviously the club beats and the stuff that gets you moving and having fun and just like getting out with friends, having parties and stuff like that. But really it was just emotion, getting through emotion. With this stuff here, we're like redefining who we are as individuals. And I find it kind of scary because it's like, what are we going to discover? Who are we going to be? And what does the future look like when it comes to exposing ourselves constantly to that type of music?
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. Well,
Yeah,
that's really cool.
and I also find like as I go on this music journey, getting into other like genres of music, other like countries for music,
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like I have a lot of disconnect with
Yes.
like people in real life because they're still bad. Like to me, it's not that it's a bad thing. They're just they haven't branched outside of what they know. Like
Yes.
they're still listening to the music from like 10, 20 years ago. They're
Yeah,
still playing the
yes.
same games and doing the same stuff. And it's like as much as I love the nostalgia of that and I still listen to a lot of older music, like I've finally found a place where I can branch out into things and it's exciting to learn about new groups and new music and like
Absolutely.
we fell into SB19 because somebody that Bucky knew suggested we react to Gento and we just kind of fell in it from there. Like I knew about them before that. Like I listened to some of Ken's solo stuff, like his Philip stuff before that
Right.
because of another reactor. And but like when we reacted to that, we really liked it. So we said, well, we'll add them in the rotation of our reactions and then it just kind of blew up from there and I'm like, wow. Like this is crazy. But it's like, but we are doing this because we love SB19. We've loved everything we've seen from them so far. And not that it's not even just that our channel blew up because of it. It's because we do the things we like. And if we didn't like SB19, we wouldn't be here doing it.
Exactly. I feel you on that, right? Like as a creator, it's hard because it's like you want to experience so much and you want to connect with the artists and the fandoms and really have that raw connection. And it's hard, like you were mentioning, there is a lot of disconnect between the people, cultures. There's a lot of cultural influences that we may not know about, but I think that that's what's so awesome about it is that we're able to have that ability to go beyond the music,
Yeah.
and we learn more about the countries that we look into. We like I've learned so much about South Korea. I've learned so much about the Philippines. I've learned terms, language, like the language barriers get a little bit broken because it's like I'm
Yeah.
starting to use words all the time.
Yeah.
And it becomes part of your everyday.
Yeah.
When we go into these artists, I 100% agree with you, is that we need to be able to expand. And that's something that I've always mentioned, is that if we close ourselves off to music, then we're essentially just doing what we just talked about. All the people
Yeah.
that will just stay in that bubble and they will forever live. And for some people, that's
That's
awesome.
fine.
That's beautiful. I'm so happy that you can find happiness and
Yeah.
solace within that genre or within that group or whatever. But for us, we're wanderers. We have to experience, we have to see, we have to feel, we have to touch.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
Yeah.
just
And it
it,
also another thing it's opened me up to is like more opportunities, I guess, because like if you would have told me a few years ago I was going to go traveling to the US to go to concerts and things, I would have been like you're crazy.
yeah.
I very rarely left home a whole lot. I didn't go very far when I did go. It was
Yeah.
I just I was very much an introvert, stay at home kind of person because of like past health issues and stuff and past stress issues, but K-pop helped me get out of that. Like I went down to Florida to go to Only One Of. I went to Chicago to see Suga of
Mm,
BTS. I've been to Toronto by myself to go see Kingdom. Like these are things I would have never even thought about doing because I would have been like, nope, that's not for me. But now I'm
yeah.
just like, when's my next trip? When's my next concert? Like
Oh,
I just want
I
to
love that.
travel now, and I was terrified to do it before.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
I had like been on a plane like once in my life before that. And now I'm just like, oh, I love flying. I love traveling. I love
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
opened me up to another world in that sense too.
That's what really drives me to AJ. I 100% agree, is that I when I was younger, around 19 or 20, I believe, I went overseas for the very first time. I came out of Canada by myself, and I went on a tour around the UK, Ireland, Scotland, and that was a defining moment in my life because it was a lot of firsts. And then it almost kind of seemed like a lot of firsts started to disappear after that, right? Because it's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I've experienced enough and I feel like I'm okay. But then I
Yeah.
start getting like this urge and these feelings of like, oh man, I wish I could go do that again. And then I sit there and I've had this conversation with my friend before about how whenever we talk about anything, we always bring up that one instance of what we did, and
Yeah.
we get kind of defined by that one thing. So if something comes up about Scotland or Ireland, I'm like, oh, back when I was 20, I seen this and I did this and this and this, and I
Yeah.
can. But then that's as far as I can go. I have no new stories. I don't have any new experiences, and it's like this caged feeling where you just like you want to get out and you want to experience and you want to explore and you want to
Yeah.
hear and feel again. And then that energy. When I started thinking about the energy of a BTS concert and being around everybody within that energy, it like gave
Yeah.
me like this new like I need to do this. I need to see this. I need to feel this. I thought that my days of going to concerts were over because, you know, I have a
Yep.
kid now and I just don't feel like I
Yep.
have the energy anymore. No,
I
like
agree.
now it's like it's coming back again. It's like now I'm going to concerts, I'm going to things, and now I never had it before. I never had the ability before. Now I have something to record with. I have a phone that can actually like have really great quality to make videos to share that experience, but
Yeah.
to also remember those experiences for myself.
Yeah.
And that's why like I'm excited to try the travel vlogs and the concert vloggings to meet the people like you said. Oh my god, AJ.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah,
chills
well,
just
that's
thinking
just
about
it.
it.
Like, for me, like, after having a couple kids and stuff, and we just kind of had our life set, this is what it was going to be. And the idea of that this was going to be my day-to-day life for the next however many years, I'm like, there's got to be, like, don't get me wrong, I love being a parent. Like, my
Mhm.
life is good in, like, that realm of things. But it's just like, this can't be everything.
Right.
Like, I was always going to concerts and things, but at that time, like, the last concert I had been to was in 2013 to the Billy Talent concert, and I was like, "There's gotta
Mm.
be more concerts, there's gotta be more," and then I kinda got in the space that maybe I'm okay not going, but then when K-pop got me into music again, and it kicked me into gear again with that stuff, and it's just like, I was hyped up to go to Florida to go to the Only One of concert, and then we were gonna travel together, me and Bucky were gonna travel together to Chicago with a couple of her friends to go see Yoongi. We ended up getting like we got tickets for a second night of the Yoongi concert, and I'm
Oh,
just like, so we went 2 nights of like Suga concert, and my God, that was spectacular because the first night was that, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here, and then the second night was like, now I can really enjoy it because I know what to expect,
yeah, yeah.
and it was amazing. And like I
Oh,
said, I've been to Toronto now for the Kingdom concert back in September, and now I'm just like, okay, now where can I go next?
yeah.
Who wants me to come visit them to go to a concert? So,
You're globetrotting now. I love it. I
like,
love to see it.
oh, and like even like online concerts. I've seen a lot of the online
Hmm.
BTS concerts and different things, and I'm gonna be watching the SB19 online
Yes, yes. Oh my
concerts.
God, that's
I
gonna be
got the
so much
2-day
fun.
pass for
You
that.
did?
I'm
Yeah.
excited. Yes,
Right
I
on.
figured it
Perfect.
out.
Nice. Perfect. Yeah, that it was a little bit sketchy at first. I was like,
Yep.
"Oh my God, okay. This is the first time I'm ever doing this. Let's see what we can do." And it actually didn't turn out too bad. And in the
Yep.
end, like it actually seems like it's pretty okay. And then
Yep.
now I'm seeing all of the special guests that are going to be coming up. Like I
Yep.
think we just see now Glock 9's going to be there. And I'm like, this is perfect. This is like
Yep.
like my next opportunity to see another artist, and
Yep.
this is what I love so much about the music that we listen to is the amount of collaboration that happens within the community and like
Mhm.
the different like especially within the cultures because then we start learning more about what are artists that we're falling in love with, what inspires them,
Yep.
what do they love, and like who did they look up to and now they're coming to them as well. And
Yep.
it's just it's so exciting and it just really it's that energy. I feel it in my fingertips all the time is that it's just this world that we experience and it's oh it's so amazing. I'm so glad that we can do this. And now
Yep.
even doing this like what you and I are doing, you know, I did a podcast with my friend and we talked about just random geekdom and stuff like that.
Yep.
And now here I am and I'm like I'm talking to other creators within the space talking about
Yes.
music and what inspires them
Yep.
And so this is so much fun to be able to do this with you, especially right off the bat, because like
Yep.
you and I, like we've talked for a very long time,
Yep.
and we've been following each other's channels for a long time. Um, what is something that you seen within my channel that you felt that inspired something from like to your channel?
I just feel like when I was watching your reactions, like you just had this energy about you that you were excited for everything. And it's just like, I need more of that in my life because like
Hmm.
sometimes getting caught up in the creator space and you're making your list of stuff to do and you're organizing and you're scheduling and sometimes that can get monotonous. So sometimes when I get to do the reactions, I feel like, did I put enough effort into it? Did I put enough energy? And then I would be like, I'd go over and I'd see your reactions. It's like you always have energy for it. And I'm like, that inspires me to
I
have
love that.
energy and like just like do the thing and just and also the part of the reason I like watching other reactors is just to see how excited they are for new music or new
Yes.
music videos or like to see how amazed they are at a new group that they've never seen before and they're like, "Oh, I've been missing out." And like I feel like we do a lot of that too. It's like,
Yeah.
where have we like what rock have we been living under that we didn't know about this group?
Exactly.
Like,
Well, and that's what I found about your channel, right? Like I was amazed by how much you guys just like it comes so natural to you where it's just like you guys get on camera, you say the lines and then you react. And then
yeah,
seeing your expressions and seeing how much knowledge you guys have within the whole fandom, it's like okay, this is a group that knows what's up. They have been in it. They've been developing the craft for a long period of time. And I get I get to this point sometimes where I this is where I feel personally um I would say not insufficient, but like I just feel like I don't know enough to be
yeah,
able to say a lot of things. And when I watch you guys, that's where my inspiration comes from to be able to say things because it's like you guys speak it like right from just like that. For me, I always felt like I had to think about it. And so I'm like, this is how I follow with K-pop beat is that I can just do it and just
yep,
feel it and just say it. And there's no
yep,
holding back for whatever I have to say. It's just if I say something wrong, whatever. I
yeah.
learn. I learn from the comments and that's it.
And I think it took us a long time to get there. And it's also been overwhelming recently with our channel blowing up and we've like so it's been a lot. So sometimes we get on camera and we're overwhelmed and we're kind of thinking like should I say this? Shouldn't I? But like I'm in this space that we are not for everyone.
Hmm.
Everybody is not going to like all three of us.
Right.
Everybody's not going to like any of us. Like, it's that thing where it's just like I had to accept on some level that people are not always going to like us or agree with us.
Mm.
And I think once I finally became okay with that,
Yeah.
I was just like, just go in, say the thing. Like, if people don't like it, then it is what it is because not everybody has to watch our channel. There's so many other great reactors out there that if you don't like the way we're doing things, find another reactor that reacts to that stuff because don't try to come in and argue with us. And I have a like I personally do the thing where it's like if I see a comment that I really don't like, I delete it. I don't interact with it. I don't mess with it. I delete it because for my mental space, like my headspace, I need to be able to do that because I don't want to dwell on stuff. If I delete something that's really bothering me, it's gone. It's at
Yeah.
a sight out of mind. And I'm not saying that like I can't take constructive criticism, but let's face it, a lot of the constructive criticism is just people hating on you. And I don't
Absolutely.
need to put up with that.
Absolutely. I faced that early in my career with BTS, especially with YouTubers and reactors. Um, Certain things triggered me because I was just like, from a different standpoint,
Yeah.
I view things differently. And then it really got me into this world of second guessing myself and really
Yeah.
having a difficult time exploring the ability to say things off the cuff and to be able to make those mistakes, because I thought I'm dealing with a fandom that if I
Yeah.
make those mistakes, they're going to draw blood. And it's
Yeah.
like, but not for who I am as an individual. That always seems like it's always off the table. It doesn't matter who I am, right?
Yeah.
But do you ever remember that one comment that sits in the back of your head that
I
just still
do.
to this day affects you? And what is it?
It does, it's not necessarily that it affects me, but it does come to mind every time somebody gets nasty with one of us in the comments. And this is
Mm,
why I started the rule with all three of us. If you really don't like something, delete it. Don't interact with it, just delete it. If you don't want to deal with it, like have one of us do it, or
mm.
you know, because it's not worth it. But
No.
to me, there was two times on our channel that, like, one of the times I actually had to take a step back, and that's when I took one of my breaks because I was also going through a lot of illness at the time with all
Mm,
the COVID stuff. And one was, we always had problems with people mouthing off in our comments when we reacted to Enhypen. In
okay.
Hypen, some of the members are younger, and at the time, some of the members were underage. And like, we would talk about this one's are biased, or oh, we like this one and stuff. And people would take it too far, as in like a bias is someone you think is nice looking and you're attracted to them. And I'm like, they're minors, people. Like,
Yeah.
you need to chill out. So like, and they had one video where they had kind of like a, I felt it was too over the top for, like, because they had underage ones in it, and we had mentioned that, and they're like, we had some, I think it was younger fans, come at us and be like, oh, we, they can do these things, and you guys are like, I don't even remember what the comment was now, but it's like every time we reacted to them, people always had something negative to say, even if we didn't
Mm,
mention anything negative. They didn't like our opinions. So every time I started getting stressed out every time we reacted to Enhypen. And Enhypen is one of my favorite K-pop groups. I've been following them since they were on their survival show where they were formed.
right, right,
So it became a constant stress for me. So for a while I was like, I don't want to react to them because people are just being nasty.
right. So it
But
affected
we
you.
since got back into them, and it's
Yeah,
fine now, and I just
yeah.
ignore people like that. And the other one was when we first started reacting to Stray Kids, we would sometimes talk about BTS and the reactions because we're not comparing it's what we have to reference it from. And I
Referencing,
mentioned
yeah.
something about,
Hmm.
there was the word dang used, and I had only known the BTS song Dang, and I had mentioned that, and people lost their minds. They're like, it means freeze, and you don't know what you're talking about, and you
Yeah,
should learn
yeah.
some Korean. It's like, I go into every single reaction we do blind, and if you don't like that,
Yeah.
that's not on me. But like, this idea that people think that these things are common knowledge when they're not. Like, we've had a lot of people, especially in, seems like in Stray Kids reactions, say like, oh, well, this is what this means and that's what that means. And I'm looking at them like, there was one incident, I'm like, but that's not what we call it here in Canada. I would have never picked up on that.
Yeah,
And they're like, oh, well, you should have known. I'm like, I don't look into things before I react, because how do I do a genuine reaction, guys? Pick
exactly.
what you want from me.
Yeah,
So now I just gotta live in this space. If you say something I don't like, it's gonna be deleted. I don't care. I don't need to accept.
yeah.
But like, there's
100%.
always those moments of like, if I say too much or I mention the wrong thing in the wrong reaction,
It's
what are people gonna
still,
do?
yeah.
It's still that, like, how far can we take something before somebody's gonna get nasty with us? But then I just have to accept, if you don't like it, you don't have to be here.
And I highly, highly believe, and I can promise you that in the comment section, this is going to be talked about, is that this is the reason why people come to our channels. Because of that ability to be a real person. How
Yeah.
many times do we see reactors and YouTubers in general who are so animated and so out of control and check
Yeah.
out this product, and hey, by the way, if you want to go over to my Patreon, and hey, do
Yeah.
you want to, like, do you like, there's too much of that. And I
Yeah.
think that a lot of people miss both the long form aspect of conversation and talking on YouTube.
Yeah.
This is also talked about in general on YouTube in a whole. This is why shorts really aren't doing what they want,
No.
what they wanted.
Yeah.
It's because people want the long form content. They want
Yeah.
they want the raw reaction of a YouTuber, the person
Yeah.
that is sitting at home on their time alone and being part of a community, being part of a bigger scale of things.
Yeah.
And that's something that I pride myself on. I kept my videos up that I felt were just a learning process for me.
Yeah.
I said, why would I take these down if I'm learning from it and experiencing it? But then there was a certain point where then I started thinking to myself, what if I duped myself? What if I thought that I was being taught something, but I was actually being gaslit into this idea that I am the one that's wrong, when really you didn't really pick up on what I was trying to lay down.
Yeah.
And you were also taking it a little too far. And this is where I needed a community to help me get through a lot of these
Yes.
stupid things. I have some of the most amazing moderators that are not just moderators, but they are family,
Yeah.
and they help me get through so much in my head where
Yeah.
I've second guessed myself because of all of the noise that happens. And it's
Yeah.
not to the fault of the community. It is just the fact that we're in this space here where we have thousands and thousands of views, people coming into our channels, and there are just countless reactions and countless emotions and countless actions and reactions that
Yeah.
are just like it's a constant flurry around us. And this
Yeah.
is where mental health comes into play.
Yeah.
how how many times have you ever felt that you needed to just step away? How, like have you, is this on a regular occurrence, or do you feel like you have people that you can talk to help you get through a lot of these issues?
Yeah. Well, for me, there's layers of it because I get into this thing with the channel where it's like, not that become obsessive about it, but it's like, okay, I'm going to do all the things. We're going to meet this day. We're going to do this.
Yes.
Here's my list of stuff that needs to be edited. And like, I'm lucky because most of the time we have a team of us doing everything.
Right.
So I've taken on the bulk of the editing in recent months for to take off of the other ones that were doing it. But now we're kind of getting back into a flow. So we have three people editing. So
Hmm.
myself, my husband, because he works behind the scenes for the channel, and Tanya also edits.
Right.
So like, I'm kind of getting back into passing things off to everyone because I do the recording, like I'm the channel manager. So, but I have a lot of help with the behind the scenes stuff from my husband. Like he was our original editor when I didn't know how to edit and Tanya
Mhm.
didn't know. And then Tanya started helping, then later I started helping. He does the majority of the thumbnails for our videos still.
Okay.
And he like if I don't have time to do the description or I don't have time to add tags or something, he'll go in and he'll do it for me before the
Yeah,
video goes
that's
out.
always a challenge.
So we kind of have a flow with that, but what happens is when I start getting behind on my organizing the channel because I do have to stay on top of things. It's like then I don't have things to pass off to other people and then it kind of goes down and then I feel like I'm not doing my part. So I push myself and then I get burnt out. I hit a
Mm.
point at the end of last year, I don't know if it was the 1st of December, end of November, I got burnt out. Kids were sick, I had been sick, husband had been sick, we had Christmas coming up. I was trying to push things out on the channel
Oh
and I
yeah.
was editing mainly by myself and I just told them like I got to take a step back, like I need time
Mm.
off. I'm not recording anything for a few weeks. If I get stuff out on the channel I do, but Tanya took on a lot of the editing at that point and she was just uploading what she could and
Right.
things were just going the way they were. But it's like if I had not taken that break for like 3 weeks to a month or whatever it was, I wouldn't be in the headspace I am now. Like I wouldn't have been able to hit the ground running when January hit, and that's around when we started doing where the SB19 stuff took off, and we just like I was able to be in a good headspace for the channel to blow up and be organized and keep doing the things.
Right.
But I've had my days where it's just like I can't deal with it. Like some days I'll be like, no video today, guys. I can't. There's too much going on because I have a
Yeah.
personal life, I have a family, like we have all the stuff going on, so it's just like it's a balance. I always say
Yeah.
this whole thing is a balance, and sometimes I forget that. But if I get to the point where I'm tired and I'm getting burnt out, like I usually take a day or two to take a step back and I don't allow myself to do anything.
Right.
So, but that has put me in a place where it's just like, but then on the days that I do want to do stuff, I'm full into it. I'm doing the things. But then you add on the comments and the people that have opinions and people telling you should think this way about a video, or you missed that, or you should be doing things this way. And I'm
Just
like,
another layer.
it all becomes a thing, and I think burnout is my biggest issue.
Right, right.
Burnout because I do have insomnia and stuff, so it's like I will just go
Yeah.
until I realize, well, maybe I should tone it down a little bit.
Yeah. That's definitely something I agree is my side of it is that I feel like I just don't do enough. I
Yeah.
feel like I could do so much more, and I see all of the other creators in the space. That's one of the hardest things, especially when you
Yeah.
really dive into the culture and dive into the different reactors and stuff, is that comes up on your YouTube algorithms. And then you're like, "Oh, what did I do wrong? Why like how come I can't come out with videos? How come I can't feel and react the way that they do? How can I not?" And that
Yeah.
kind of like circles back to like what you were saying about my channel is like, how do you get all that energy? How do you feel? That energy for me is only at a high.
Yeah.
The amount of lows outweigh the highs.
Yeah.
And so when I don't do something, I get anxious because I'm like, oh, I wish I could just do. I wish I could
Yeah.
have multiple videos out every single day. I wish I could be on my social medias. But then reality started sinking in.
Yeah.
Real life started sinking in, and I feel you on that burnout because I went
Yeah.
through that. And the girls can contest through Discord. They seen it. They seen what I was going through and how there was a
Yeah.
moment where I was like, okay, but you don't understand. Like, how am I losing all of these subscribers? How am I not
Yeah.
like how like what am I doing wrong? Nobody's telling me what I'm doing wrong. And then I was just going and going and going and going.
Yeah.
And then it was Black Rose who just said, "Listen, like, shut the
Yeah.
fuck up. Look at what
Yeah.
you're doing, right? Like, look at what's happening to you right now. Like, this is unhealthy." And even when
Yeah.
Nolo said it too, that's when it was like, uh-oh, dum, dum. Like I felt it. Like it was just like I stepped beside myself and I'm like, you're right. This is
Yeah.
too much. I have overloaded myself to the point where I am fixated on it, and this isn't me. This isn't who
Yeah.
I am. And I just then that's when it started flowing into the idea of, why do I care what so many people think when I should be doing this for myself?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be for everybody else. I shouldn't try to cater to everybody's love and lust for everything.
Yeah.
I can't cater to the idea of coming out with 4 to 5 videos a day. All I can do is be myself.
Yeah.
And that's when it started circling back.
Yeah. And with us, where we have set times we can record because we all have lives, and like some of them are working jobs and different things like that. So we have like a couple nights, and sometimes we have to pick one of those nights to meet and do a bulk of recordings.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very rarely on top of, like, we'd love to be one of those channels. Something comes out, we react, it's out within
Yeah.
24 hours. It's never
Done.
going to be us. And at one point, we just had to have that conversation and accept that we're never going to be the other reactors, because with the way our channel's set up and with the way we are, we're never going to be able to do that.
Right.
So we just kind of have to accept that, like, we're not going to be on top of everything. We're not going to be watching things most of the time the same day it comes out. Like, we do have some groups that, like, these are our priority ones because we have different, like, I like them, or Tanya does, or Bucky does.
Right.
And these are the ones we react to as soon as we can when they come out, or we'll meet, like, late at night sometimes to do that one reaction, and then I'll make it a priority to edit or something. Or whoever's going to be awake is the one that takes priority to edit it and to get it out. But it's one of those things that, like, early on in the game, we had to accept we're not going to be one of those channels that's always a video a day or has the latest reactions. And, like, you know, it's never going to be us because we literally cannot do that with our
Right.
time zones and our commitments in our lives. So And the other thing too is sometimes when we get carried away with channel stuff, when we get caught up in all the hype and like
Yeah.
when the channel it's like we kind of roll ourselves back going, no, no, we started this to
Mhm.
meet as friends, to share our journey with other people and to have fun. And if like you do have to have some kind of structure and some kind of plan, but at the same time, if that's outweighing the fun or like you're not looking forward to meeting and doing this stuff, then
Yes.
kind of like we have to reassess what we're doing. But I kind of fall into the like everything needs to be organized. I got to have this done because I need structure sometimes when I'm
Yes.
doing this. So like sometimes I just like I got to remind myself take a step back, take a breath. Just because I'm obsessed with everything doesn't mean
Yes.
everybody else needs to be. So
Exactly.
like
Mhm.
again, it's about balance, but I am lucky enough that my husband does do behind the scenes
That's
stuff for the
awesome.
channel, and he also supports channel and he helps me out when I need it. And I like he's the one that I go to and I'm like, am I being ridiculous on this or do I need to take a step back or should I tell them I need a week
Yes.
off? Like he's kind of like the voice of reason when I'm kind of like what's going on with me?
Yeah. Oh
So it
man,
does help
that's
me out a
awesome.
lot.
I love that. I love that you
Yeah.
have that support system, not only through friends and family, but through your husband as well,
Yep.
because that's exactly like how it is with my wife. Is, me and my wife have been through this YouTube journey ourselves. She had a video that was how to draw Hello Kitty. And that video blew up. That had
Wow. That's
millions
awesome.
of views, and that was like her spending money at the time of the Wild West of YouTube with ads, where she was able to go to BC and she was able to just like spend some time and spend some money. And that was just like,
That's
that was so
cool.
funny. That's so fun. And back when YouTube essentially first started, I was doing anime music videos. I was editing really great. I know it's crazy to
No, no,
think.
no. The reason I laugh is because my husband used to make some anime music videos
Really?
back in the day.
Oh
Yes.
my god, that's amazing. Oh my god, yes. The LimeWire rip of Naruto and Linkin Park songs or Evanescence. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. Inuyasha, Naruto, and random whatever dance
Yep.
compilations. Yeah. So
Oh, that takes me
we've
back.
we've been here. We've been here.
Yep.
And so I've always done something online and I've always just tried to do things because it's always just been fun for me. It's just it's a treat for me to be able to come here.
Yep.
And then when it came to all of this, that's when I started finding that there is this weird thing happening in my head where it's like, am I good enough? Am I
Yep.
the best? Am I, and how is this happening? How does this affect? And so I think that doing this music, doing reactions to music is our therapy that is also the defender against a lot of those types of
Yep.
things because the music is what helps us grow, helps us experience, learn, like we're watching Discovery Channel. But my question for you next is, do you ever remember a time with music where it started with you? Like when music really became the center of what you felt? Like, here, let me better explain this. What was like the first time that you really remember listening to something for music? Like what was that influence? Like what was that first song that you remember that really just like helped for your love of music?
I think for me, it kind of goes in increments for my music journey because I've always been exposed to music my entire life. Like I started playing piano at 4 years old.
Right.
I always grew up because like my grandmother had a piano and my sister was learning how to play and then I couldn't wait till I was old enough to take piano lessons. So I was always exposed to music and a lot of my family was like some of my more distant family was into music. And I remember growing up like it was the country music,
Yep.
like the Garth Brooks, the Reba McEntire,
Oh my
like
god,
all of
Reba.
that kind of stuff. And then it was like fiddle music too a lot in my
Yes.
family. So like Natalie McMaster. I had a bunch of younger cousins that live in PEI that played like fiddle and things like that. And we used to
Right.
spend some time in the summers over there. So I have always been exposed to music, but for me it was like one of the artists that I always consider one of my favorites is Phil Collins. My
Oh, okay.
uncle used to listen to him. I remember being like, "What's this song? Who's this?" And like he made me a mixtape from his
Mm,
Phil Collins stuff, and I got to pick out all the music, and that was exciting. And I was really young at the time.
yeah.
Like we're talking maybe 6 or 7 years old. And
Okay.
I just remember sitting there with him listening to all this different music and picking out songs to go on a tape that I got to take home with me.
That's
And it's just like
awesome.
I
Ah,
absolutely loved that. And it's just like,
ah.
and from there it's like I mean the country music, my father was very much into country,
Mm-hmm.
and my mother used to listen to like it was some of the like late 80s early 90s stuff that was more popular. So I had a wide variety of
Right.
music.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then, but for me, when I got into stuff by myself, like when I got in junior high, it started out with the boy band phase. Me and my best friend with Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and all the other slew of ones that came out. But like within the year, like we had switched and we were listening to things like Nirvana, Our Lady
Mm.
Peace, No Doubt, Green Day, like Silverchair, like a lot of that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
then it just
Yeah.
branched from there. But I think one of the groups that hit like through the years, it's been Our Lady Peace was one of the main groups for
Oh,
me.
okay.
Then it was Linkin Park,
Mm-hmm.
and then then it was Billy Talent. So it was just kind of like, and then it was Billy Talent right up until BTS.
Billy Talent is something else. Hey,
Yeah.
oh man, like our Canada pride right there, man.
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah, Our Lady Peace, Billy Talent, like they were the groups for me
Yeah.
from like
Wow.
Our Lady Peace was when I was junior high. Our Lady Peace Clumsy was actually the first CD I bought with my own money.
Oh wow.
So, yeah,
Okay.
so like but like I said, it's kind of like increments of
It
like moments of music.
exactly. And yeah, like basically like how I wanted to structure that was like essentially like what was that first spark of music? And I think for myself it was like what you were saying, like 5 or 6 was when I remember my mom and she would listen to Patsy Cline
Yep.
like almost exclusively. And I remember those songs like it's just always there. It's like I always remember the moments in like the summertime. I picture it. I see it. That's like my inner child kind of thing. That's what I
Yep.
see all the time. And it's so funny too because with my mom, I remember like obviously when I was younger, this would have been a lot more closer to the time when my father left. And so then I start realizing that Patsy Cline was my mom's healing. She
Yep.
was listening to the sadness and the sorrow from the music, the love and the loss in her music. And so
Yes.
from Patsy Cline comes, like you said, the country music. That's our parallels are very
Yep.
similar like that.
Yep.
Almost exclusively country music, especially like old honky tonk stuff too.
Yep.
And my grandfather being very into Johnny Cash. And from my musical standpoint, it was always country because we lived in a farming community. And then from there, I remember the spark, that point when it shifted was when my cousins got an iPod, and that was when the iPod first came out, and they had all sorts of just different hip hop, R&B, and rap, and
Yep.
I don't know. Comedy specials. I don't know. Like it was weird, and
Yeah.
so like this was like a whole new thing, and I was like, now I'm starting to like I'm hearing Black Eyed Peas. I'm starting to like hear different things,
Yep.
and then Much Music comes on, and then Usher's Yeah comes into effect. And I don't know what happened. It was just something exploded in my head, and now I can't get enough of this song. I am like VHS recording this like whole
Yep.
broadcast now, and I'm replaying it over and over again to learn the lyrics, and I'm like just infatuated with the sound. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then it's
Yep.
like goes into Sean Paul, and then it's like, and then oh, what's happening? And then all of a sudden I'm watching Much Music constantly.
Yep. Much
And
Music was very much a part of my high school
oh
years,
my
like
god, it was a total explosion. And now we're getting into alternative music. We're seeing System of a Down on there. I'm like,
love
oh, I'm
System.
getting creeped out by the music video, but I can't stop listening to the song. And then it's like, then Billy Talent starts coming into effect, and then oh my god, now I'm getting Billy Talent's first CD, and that was my very
Yep.
first CD. I was like, what the heck's going on? Like, how am I doing this? Like, I'm not listening to country music anymore. I'm over it. I'm done with country. And now I'm in alternative rock. And now I'm in that anarchistic phase. I'm listening to Rise Against. And I'm just like, oh man, this is awesome. Like, this is powerful. Linkin Park is my healer. And then
Yep.
now it's just like, it's just ever evolving. It's like there's no genre of music that's out of bounds.
Yep.
If that sound hits my ear properly and gives me that shiver, I'm in
Yep.
it.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's just it.
that's it. Like now we're here and we're in this, and it's just it's like it's again it's evolving ever more.
Yeah.
Now,
And like my music journey, I just want to add a little bit
sure.
more. It's like I also had I could go on endlessly
Yeah.
about bands and groups from like when I was really young to now, but it's just like I also um in my high school years, I was also like a DJ for school dances.
Really? Okay.
Yes, so that was another aspect. So I had to know all the popular music, even though I was only into like this new metal and like alternative, I had to know all the stuff. So that's where like
Right.
and I was also into Eminem and stuff too at the time. But
Yeah.
that's where I learned all the stuff like Sean Paul, I think that's his name, and like all these other like artists that I would have never listened to, and all the popular dance music, things like Sandstorm by Darude and like all that random stuff. And it's just like,
Yeah.
so I had to know the music. So it's like I actually had a broader variety of music than most people, like even in my high school years, because even though
Yeah.
this is what I liked, this is what I had to know.
Okay, so
So
you were really in the sauce when it came to
yeah,
music, because yeah, now you're really getting into the sounds that get people going, get people
yeah,
interested and hyped, but
yeah.
also
And
still
like
having your flow.
yeah, and that's just something like a lot of people don't know things like I played piano for years. I took years of lessons.
Yeah.
I was a DJ through my uh high school years. Like I actually wanted to take music when I got out of high school, but the opportunity wasn't around here for me.
Right.
So,
Right.
like, I wanted to get into music production, and I kind of always fall back onto that because even learning all this video stuff for the channel, it's like I knew audio stuff before I got into video. So, like, I'm always messing with audio and stuff in our reactions, like all the levels and things, because I find
Oh,
that
okay.
interesting.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, it's just like my music journey has been all over the place and it's been most of my life and it's been a huge part of my life. So, like, you can't take the music out of me, I guess, because then like what's left?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's I find is so just oh my god, like audio for me has always when it comes to art, it's always been part of my life. My art is displayed on my arms. You know,
Yeah,
this is my art. I design tattoos, and then I put them on me. And
yeah,
then I was eventually to a point where my hands started getting shaky, and I just didn't feel like I had the ability to anymore. You know, I had to work. I couldn't, you know, I that was something that I
yeah,
wanted to do. I wanted to go and work at Ocean Studios in Vancouver to be an animator. And I never got that opportunity. Um because just life gets in
yeah,
the way, and
yeah,
that's unfortunate. Um but when it came to like music, art, like it's all under the whole
yes,
creative umbrella. And I just I'm so infatuated with sound, and with like I don't have the like I don't play instruments. I've never been able to. I can maybe sing if I'm by myself, but really it's an art form that I respect so very much. And when I see artists, especially like the ones that we react to now, it's like I can respect and I can understand to some degree the dedication, the time, and the effort that goes into it. And I wonder for yourself, do you ever feel like you could or do you feel like you would ever explore potentially making your own music and your own beats, I guess?
Well, that was something I was kind of diving into when the pandemic hit. I actually ordered like a mixer and stuff I could use with my computer. Some of the things just didn't flow right, and then that's when I started falling into like doing reactions and things shortly after. So my time kind of got shifted. But like I've always wanted to write music. I write lyrics. I have
Hmm.
so many things that I've written. So when I come like I'm the kind of person because I write and the way I do my writing, I don't always go into videos wanting to pick lyrics apart. And I have my reasons for that because I feel like when I do my writing, I used to share it. I don't anymore. I used to have a blog, but I just don't have time anymore.
Right.
But, like, when I used to share that stuff, I like, even if one person gets some kind of meaning or some kind of connection out of it, that is the goal. They
Yeah.
don't have to see what I was trying to convey in it, but if they take it and make it their own, like, they relate to something or they take a line, even if that's not what I meant,
Mm.
that's that's to me the point of lyrics and music. So I don't
Yes.
always like the dissecting of lyrics, like it means this or it means that. But if I pick up on something, it's usually because I can relate to that. That sounds like
Yes.
a line I would write.
Mm.
Like, this is what it means to me, or this is what I feel like it means, because I don't think we need to put the artists up on a pedestal and be like, oh, well, this is what they meant by this, and you have to listen to every interview to understand the music. It's just like, no, because artists are putting music out there for you to relate to get you through things, and you might relate to it completely different than what it was meant for, but isn't that the point of music? The
Yes.
point of art? To
Absolutely.
interpret it the way you need it or the way you see it.
Yeah. A hundred
So it's like
percent.
so I kind of went through a struggle with our reactions. It's like as someone who writes lyrics and has done music before, it's like yes, I have knowledge, yes, I have experience, but that doesn't always mean that I'm better at picking apart lyrics. Like I
Right.
had that kind of like how does it relate to me?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if a song hits me because I can relate to something or a line hits me because I feel it, that's more powerful to me than me picking
Mm.
the song apart line by line. But hey, if picking the song apart line by line is how you interpret music and how you relate to it, then do it by all means. But it's not for me as someone who writes.
Yeah.
So like it's just that thing where it's like I don't know, like having done that, I don't feel like I'm any more experienced or have any or what I say is any more important than anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that I would love to see you be able to express yourself through those lyrics again and to be able to like write and stuff like that because I think that that's you seem very passionate about it and
Yeah.
I'd love to see what you would actually be able to come up with and I think that a lot of people would be really into that too. So if you ever consider it, I definitely say go for it. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
I do once in a while if I'm in a writing mood and I write something, sometimes I'll share it in my Discord.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how is your Discord doing? How like what do you guys do you like are you guys having fun with that? Is it a challenge to deal with or
No, I really enjoy it. I haven't been as active as I'd like to be in the last few
yeah.
weeks just because my focus has kind of shifted with starting the new channel and I got some other projects like, the podcast that I was guest like this one here with you and
Yeah.
I've got some other things like I'm helping other people out with because that I think that's my thing. Even though I have my own channel, I really like to be that person that like helps other people and is involved in other things and because it keeps
Yeah.
me interested. It's nice to interact with like other reactors and stuff to see what's
Yeah,
going on with them.
absolutely.
Like I'm part of other reactors communities, like I mod for someone else and different things like that. I'm going to be helping him out with his subathon that he's going to be doing sometime here. So
Right, right.
like it's just like I like to stay active in different communities, especially other communities that I've like been interacting with for a while and I know the
Yeah.
people. So it's just
Yeah.
like it's not just about me, but like our Discord, I love it. I feel like it does having a Discord server kind of gives you that like buffer between the people who are just going to say stuff on YouTube versus the people that actually care about your channel.
Yes. Big time.
And so
Yeah.
I'm more likely to open myself up a bit more in like when I talk to people in the Discord than I would if I was talking to someone in the comments on the YouTube channel
Right,
or on
right.
social
Yeah.
media. So, but like what we're kind of in a space now that we're probably going to need moderators to help us out. We've got a lot of SB19 fans, so I'm going to need someone that speaks the language because I don't want to discourage people and say you can only speak English in here, but at the same time, I can't understand
Yeah,
everything that's going
that's
on, so I need people that do to make sure everybody's
yeah.
getting out of line.
Yeah, that's sometimes a challenge. We've actually come up with that as well, where we realize that, oh man, I actually don't know. Like with the YouTube comments, it's easier because like
Yep.
you can use Google Translate. I don't know how many times I've used that thing in the
Yep.
past year. It's insane,
Yep.
but I love it because it's like I can connect with people in other languages.
Yes.
Um, when it comes to lives, that's a little bit of a different story
Yep.
because it's like this is a live reaction. You could be saying something really horrible and nobody really knows other than that language. So it's a difficult thing, especially
Yep.
being a reactor to foreign language speaking countries. And but I agree. The Discord is something that is just it's so much fun to just meld and create your
Yep.
channels, have your set rules for what those channels are all about, and then it's a great way for the audience to be able to find out whenever there's new videos. I have your guys' notifications on, and I see all the time.
Nice.
I see you had your new video out today,
Yep.
and it's like there's that ability to like go into different, like you said, go into different communities and say hey, and then get that like spark kind of going, and like
Yep.
I'm here, and if you ever need to talk, this is the perfect place to do it. And I've
Yep.
always that's what I've always loved about Discord, is that it is
Yep.
just the best place to connect with people and have conversations like this. And
Yes.
and also I just have to do a big shout out too to your Discord. I really liked how you did each individual channel for all the different artists. And I
Yep.
sat there and I was like, why the hell am I not doing that? Like
It can get overwhelming.
yeah, and I agree. So what I ended up doing is I have my set channels for the individual artists that like are really prominent within
Yep.
my like sphere, but then it's like then I have the North American channel, the Asian channel, and
Yep.
the EU channel, and that is just kind of like the encompassing of everything. And then if there's a lot of hype around that next one, then we create a channel from that.
Yep.
And I see that like yeah, that list grows quite a lot, especially when you're
Yep.
at the K-pop beat. And
Yep.
and so uh, what I love about it is that it's like we can learn from each other so much,
Yes.
and I
Yep.
absolutely love that because it's just this isn't a barrier to entry kind of thing. This is just
Nope.
as you go, this is what you can pick up, this is what you can evolve into your own thing, and we could just become so much better at it.
Yeah, and I also like as far as like being in communities of other reactors because then if I come across a problem, I'm like, "Hey,
Yes.
are you having this issue?" And if it's like a technical thing or if it's something to do with YouTube, how did you fix it and how did you fix it? Because I'm at a loss. And
Yeah.
most people are usually really like, "Here, this is how you do it." And I'm like, "Thank you," because I don't need to go researching stuff I can't find.
Exactly.
Because,
There's
like,
so
even
many
starting
instances.
my new channel, there was some different things I have to do with these reactions to get them out, and I had some ones that I was talking to, and I'm like, "So what do I do?" And he's like, "Oh, here's a form for this," and I'm like, "Thank you, this saves me so much time, and now I
Yes.
know how to do the thing." So, like,
Yeah.
that's going along good because of help from other people.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah, we're a
like
big family no matter where we
yeah,
come from here. Like that's key, and I think that like what you said before about just being able to connect with people in those regards, to be able to help each other. I've said it to you, and I've said it to other people on here, is that it's just like you ever need anything, any kind of help,
yeah,
because that happened to me. I it happened with John from John Reeves Live.
yeah,
I talked to that guy about things that were like, I don't know what I'm doing. What do I do? And it's just like instantaneous, like no problem. Like here's the information, and I'm like, I feel so bad because I feel like that's like, well, I'm using you or
Yeah,
something. Like
well,
what?
that's my thing. It's like I don't want, and I also have that like I don't want to ask too many questions because I don't want to be a
Yeah,
pain, even if you're willing to help.
yeah.
Like I don't want to be that person that's always like, hey, can you help me? Can you help me? Because it's like at some point, what do I research myself, and what is just easier to ask someone? But it's like I know they don't mind, so
Yeah,
it's just like
yeah.
I just try to limit how many things I ask at once, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, just let's take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and
But I
we
am very
eventually get
happy
there.
I found like other reactors that are willing to like help out and stuff. And it's just
Yeah.
like I've had even people that I've been like, I might have to go down the road of Patreon for my other reaction channel if I want to do all the things that I want to do. And they're like, oh, well, let me know when you get along with that because if you need help knowing how to do that, they're like, I'll see what I can do to help you out or whatever. And it's just like
Yeah.
everybody's just so good with that stuff because it's like, even though I've been doing this for like, I don't know, a couple years, few years, however long it's been. It's like there's always more to learn, and there's if you start on other
Endlessly.
platforms, you start doing other stuff. It's like there's so much of a
Yes.
learning curve. So it's like it's good to have people to ask because if I get stuck on something and can't figure it out, I can be like, "Hey, how do I do this?" you
And
know?
I think the best part too is that we have the help, but also when it comes time to actually getting down to it and doing it, I've even noticed it for myself. There's lots of times where I know I fucked up.
Yep.
I did something messed up. I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done this, and I learned from it.
Yep.
And uh also, like when it came to doing my last reaction here with Ben and SB19, um I had a case where my video was getting blocked no matter what I was doing,
Yep.
and I didn't ask for help. I should have maybe. It could
Yep.
have gone a little bit smoother, but I racked my brain and I was just like, okay, how do I make this work? And after trial and error, trial and error, and trial and error, I finally figured it out. And I also learned something new within my editing program.
Yep.
Just being able to go on YouTube, being able to like kind of piece things together in my head. And I love that too, is that ability to just like get into new things and be able
Yep.
to figure it out and then be so
Yep.
proud that I was like, yes, I figured that out. I love this. And now this is a new tool that I can use to make my
Yep.
channel better and make me feel better about my content.
Yeah. Well, that's like a thing with me too. It's just like when I start doing things, even if I've done like, for example, I'm working on new intros and outros for the K-pop Beat channel to make something that's easier for when we're in editing.
Mm,
And so I was just like, I was just kind of looking around to see what other people are doing and like looked up some videos on how to do stuff. And I figured out how to make that you can make the intros on Canva. And I'm just like, okay, I'm off to Canva because I know how to make graphics and stuff on it. And it
yeah.
was just like, it was so good when I started creating the stuff and things were just going. And then it's like, well, that's not working. How do I change this? And I figured it all out. And I'm just like, oh, I love when I can do something and just like I feel so proud of myself when I figure
Yes,
stuff out because
absolutely.
I do have a bit of background in like website stuff and things years ago. So like I have stuff to build on, but it's just
Yeah.
sometimes like when you're getting into newer things, it's like, okay, how do I translate the stuff I know to what I'm trying to do?
Yes, yes. And I
But,
think
like,
that that's
it
the
does there's
best.
some sense of,
Yeah,
like, being proud when you figure something out or you
exactly.
make a new thing or, like, with me, when I'm editing, it's like I started with the basic stuff, and then I started learning how to do things, so then I'll be like, "I wanna do this. I wonder if I can do that." So I'll go see, like, how to do it or if there's a different way than what I'm thinking to do it, or, like, I'll try something out, and, like, I always learn. I'm always learning.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that so much because it's just like it encapsulates exactly how I feel when I go through it. It's like having those new abilities to learn, and I guess that really reflects back over to the content that we create is when we learn about new artists, when we learn about different things that happen in their lives. It's just it's something that it helps us grow and helps us really succeed in what we enjoy doing the most.
Yep.
Um, okay, well, I think we'll get down to the last few questions here before I
Okay.
let you loose here. Um, what's your favorite song at the moment? What's
My
one?
favorite My favorite songs, there's two.
There's two of them. Okay, let's go for
Yeah.
two.
We've got Moonlight by
Oh,
SB19. That is my I think I actually posted on Twitter today. It's my new hyperfixation song. It's stuck in my
yeah.
head. I'm playing it in the car on repeat. Like, it's just such a, like, feel-good song because of the beat of it. Like, I just, like, I'm
Yeah.
always walking through the house singing it, and then I catch myself and be like, "Oh." And then the other one is, Philip's Fake Faces. I really
Oh, yeah.
gravitated towards that song when we reacted to it, because it has that music sound that I love. It reminds me of, like, stuff from the 2000s, and so I've had
Yes.
that on repeat, and it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, it's so good.
I love that. I love that. I love how we've kind of fallen down this SB19 rabbit hole and almost like together on this one because it's
Yep,
like I feel it like it's so that Moonlight did something strange to me. I
yep,
remember when I realized when the song was going to drop and I was just like, "Oh my god, I wake up early in the morning. I can react to this, and I'm gonna react, and I'm gonna just throw it out there and see what happens."
yep,
And I was just like, boom, done, we're in it. And I was like, oh my god,
yep.
I love this song. And
Yes.
and when like even hearing like the alternate versions, like the acoustic what was his name, Tony Zhang, when he created the nice piano soft kind of like melodic sound to Moonlight, I was like, oh my god, I need this song in my life. Just these little teasers, stop teasing me. So definitely
Yeah.
Moonlight. For myself, I kind of think about it as like the different artists that I listen to. So like ATEEZ is Bouncy. Just
God,
like
I love that song.
like it is one of those songs that is still stuck in my head to this day after reacting to it. I listen to it all the time. It's on my master K-pop list, and it's just like when it comes on, I just everything just gets elevated. It's crazy. When it comes to BTS, Cypher Part 3, like that just lives rent free in my head constantly.
Yep. For
Um
BTS, for me right now, I've gotten on this kick with V's song Friends,
oh
because we
yeah.
reacted to it a while ago and I forgot to put it on my playlist, and I recently added to my playlist, and like I'm on a tangent with that one too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh my god. There's so many.
Yeah.
I have this guilty pleasure for Jessie music. I love her like K-rap style and just her attitude is just oh my god, it's so fun. And even like just like I don't know, there was a time where we were kind of going through like a lot of like the old YouTube kind of meme very well-known videos, and we were showing my son, and of course Gangnam Style comes on, and
Yep.
I'm just like I'm sitting there now from like the point of when listening to that before to now, that has this weird like almost like a newfound with Gangnam Style. It's so weird, but yeah.
Yep.
Um, but with SB19, oh my god, there's just I love everything that they're coming out with because
Yep.
it's so relatable. I don't know, like that one to me, SB19 just hits different in such a weird way. And I'm sitting here and I'm just like, I'm so excited to make the next video. I'm so
Yep.
excited to learn about them. And I think a lot of it has to do with 18 as well. Because
Yes.
I feel like 18's community is just so positive and like they're not judgmental. They're not
No.
like for me personally, I haven't recognized it. I haven't noticed it. There hasn't been like the passive aggressiveness. There's just
Yep.
been, you know what? We're so thankful that you are like responding well to our boys
Yep.
and we support you so much because of like just who you are and not just about you are just supporting our boys.
Yep.
You're a good person. And I love
Yep.
that. Is there another group that you have noticed that, or what do you have to say about 18 yourself?
Okay. Well, for when we started doing the SB19 content, like, again, that's what blew up our channel. Like,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like I was a little worried when we started getting a lot of the fans in, like a lot of the 18s in and or 18 in. Um see, there I go
There it
again.
is. There it is.
And anyways, so yeah, that like I was a little concerned because all fandoms that and I'm not saying it's everybody in a fandom
No.
because I am part of a lot of fandoms, some of them that people label as very toxic, but it's not all of us. So I very much know that when a new fandom comes in, the toxic ones are not the representation of the fandom, but sometimes they are the loudest.
Yes,
But when
I've noticed that
18
myself.
came in, they were all supported. They were so excited that we were reacting to their boys and that we really enjoyed the music and we were expanding on it. And like a lot of them joined our Discord and they're talking about SB19 all the time. They're
Oh,
interested
yes.
in what we're doing. They're interested in like if we say like what we're doing, what it's just like they're genuinely happy that we're reacting to SB19 and they also want to give us the time of day and space to be ourselves as well.
Yes.
Now, another fandom that we experienced the same thing with was 17's fandom, Carrots.
Mm.
They were
Oh,
when we first
carrots.
started reacting to 17, like a lot of them joined our Discord back then and they were very supportive and like they weren't mad if we mentioned other groups in the 17 reactions and they were all excited to talk about like the connections they had with like the 17 had with other groups and this and that and like they were always excited for our next reaction. Unfortunately, some of them I don't think they're as active in our Discord anymore because we went through some hiatuses and where we couldn't record a lot of stuff, so but we try to do like at least 117 video a week,
Mm.
and like every reaction session we do, we usually have 117 because we love them as well.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like those were the two fandoms that really stood out to me.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the first time our channel kind of like got a lot of attention was the 17 content.
Mm.
That
Okay.
and we had also reacted to that by Psy and featuring Suga. And
Yeah.
that was our first video that actually blew up on the channel.
Right. Right. Yeah. You were
So
mentioning that.
so and
Yeah.
then but like you go through ups and downs, then we fell into the 17 content and we were getting a lot of views and everybody loved that. And then we kind of had a break from the YouTube channel where we weren't putting as much out and things kind of fizzled off and then but it's ups and downs and
It is.
I'm
Yeah.
here for whatever.
Yeah. And that's what I think the best part about what we're doing. And I definitely feel as a long-standing creator is that as the longer you're at this, the longer that you do this, the more you start realizing like situations when you first started are not as intense as you thought that they were, and you start realizing like you learn about the fandoms, you learn about yourself, and then in the end you start realizing like, okay, well, you start recognizing the toxic people from the actual real people, the
Yeah.
people that actually care about you, care about the music and everything in
Yeah.
between, you know. I've definitely recognized this, and this has definitely been a turning point in my online career as well. Is that at first I thought everything that was ever being said was exactly like the what I needed to do. I needed to
Yeah.
listen to. I needed to be because I'm like I'm not going to be successful if I don't listen to these people. Like
Yeah.
they know what they're talking about because they've been in the fandom for so long. But then you
Yeah.
start realizing those loud people are not the right people.
Yeah, everything is
those are
not
the
as it
wrong
seems
people.
to be.
Yeah, yeah. So that is definitely something I've learned
Yeah, see,
personally.
my experience is a little bit different because I fell into being BTS Army before I was doing the YouTube stuff. So I was heavily into that fandom, and then it was the engines within Hypen, and like I just kind of flowed through some of the fandoms and things, and it's just
Yeah.
like but then when people start doing like then I fell into like areas where it's like, well, you have to do this and you have to do that or you're not real Army or you're not real this, and I'm just
Oh
like,
my goodness.
support your groups, do your thing, do what you can.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy everything, you don't have to stream everything. Like as a reactor, I don't stream because I have to wait till I react and then I listen to stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but I was once in that very in that space of army where it's like I had to vote for everything. I had to stream constantly. I had to be awake when the videos released, and it was a great time. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a great experience. Like, it I fell in love with BTS through doing all of that stuff, and I made a
Yeah.
lot of really good army friends in doing that.
Hmm.
But then when the more toxic people that like, well, you're doing this, but you have to do it this way.
Yes.
Oh, you're doing this, you have to do it this way. And it's just like, and I also think we have this thing like, because our BTS videos on our channel don't do very well. And I don't care, it is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
but we're still going to react to it because that's still one of our main groups.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of people coming in and telling us, oh, this about BTS or that about BTS, not realizing how deep we were into the fandom and how much we actually know about them. Just because I
Yeah.
came into this in 2020 doesn't mean I don't know things. Because
Yeah.
when I fell into BTS, it was like an obsession, and I went into this like down the rabbit hole quick. And I like by the time we got to like towards the end of 2020, I had just as much knowledge of BTS as some of the people that's been there for years.
Right.
Like, it was just my hyperfixation at the time, and I
Yeah.
absolutely loved them. It was my first experience with K-pop, so I went full on into it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did, but it's just like, but some people don't realize that I actually know a lot of things. I just don't
Yeah.
always bring out the knowledge when I'm reacting because I don't always need to do that. I don't need to.
Exactly.
I get to this point. I don't need to prove that I love a group. I don't need to prove that I'm Army or Engine or 18 or 18 or anything like Kingmaker. None of that. It's just like I am at the level I am. And if I like the group, I consider myself part of the fandom.
You are AJ of K-pop Beat.
Exactly.
That's it. That's exactly it. And that's what we love. And I
Yep.
really do appreciate everything that that you do for the community, for exploring and teaching all of us, and also creating that entertainment that we all just like. We when I come into your guys' channel and I watch and I listen to you guys, it's like I'm listening to just like old friends, just chatting
Yep.
about everything that we love, and I really do appreciate that, and I know the community does as well. And from what I've seen through everybody when we do lives, and whether it's yourself or Tanya or Bucky coming in anywhere, just popping in,
Yep.
the chat lights up.
Yep.
So I just want to say you guys are doing a fantastic job, and I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. And I hope to see much more. Is there anything that you would like to plug, or anything that you would like to say while we exit this fun? I want to keep going, but
I know. I could do
we
this
could just
forever. We'll have to do
forever.
another session
I
sometime.
believe so. I believe so. Yes, let's do it. Yeah. But is there anything
But
that you
yeah,
want to promote, or anything that you want to plug
well,
out there?
obviously go check out K-pop Beat over on YouTube. Also I just started my own reaction channel, so that is
Woo!
I have actually the better says AJ of K-pop Beat. So it's like kind of like I'm gonna try to do like I'm doing my other content, which is BL reactions, because I'm kind of in that community because of other reactors I watch, and I like that's a whole other thing over there. So I won't
Okay.
get into that. But yeah, and I'm gonna be doing K-pop variety show reactions when I start having more time to record.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
because
Okay.
kind of an expansion on the K-pop beat stuff for my own personal space.
It's a spin-off.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. And
Yeah.
also like some of the behind the scenes stuff that we don't always get to on the main channel since we can't always meet all the time. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's pretty
Awesome.
much it. Check out that, check out my channel. I'm on social media if anybody's interested.
Everywhere. We'll leave
Yep.
all your socials. If you want to like hit me up with a Discord message,
Yep.
throw down all your socials, give me all that stuff. I will throw it
Yep.
down in the description of this video. AJ, thank you so much for
And
stopping
also I
in.
just want to say
Oh,
again, thanks for having me, and your reactions are also very inspiring for me because when I sometimes wonder why I'm
oh,
doing this, your channel is one of the ones I go watch, and I go obviously things that I've reacted to, but it's like just seeing someone else kind of have the same excitement and the same
uh,
appreciation for the music. It keeps me going, I guess.
That really means a
So
lot to me. It really does. I oh my god. Okay, don't do this to me right now. Okay, all right. Well, you're really hitting me in the feels right now, but
yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your time. I really do
Yes,
appreciate
thanks
it.
for having me.
Okay, bye bye.
And I hope everybody enjoys.
Yes,
Bye.
bye.